McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles as part of a Minecraft movie meal with your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theater.
At State Farm, we're committed to uplifting Black futures. In collaboration with organizations like 100 Black Men and National Urban League, State Farm provides high school students with the opportunity to learn and apply best practice strategies for saving and investing, all while offering academic support, life skills, and exposure to college access programs to prepare these students for life after high school. Check out 100blackmen.org and nul.org to donate and learn more. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy David with Black Wealth Renaissance, and I'm here today to tell you guys about Anchor. If you haven't heard of Anchor, it's the best place to make a podcast. Anchor is a free app that has creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast straight from your phone. Anchor also distributes your podcast across all major platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and many others. You can also make money on your podcast with Anchor with no minimum listenership. Anchor is everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So if you're looking to get started on your own podcast, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm.
You know the rules of the game.
Yeah.
You know the rules of the game. I don't care what color. Can you make me 100 million? Let's talk money. Can you make me that? If you can't make me that, I won't talk to you. You shouldn't even be at this table.
Hey, I got money on my mind. I'm just trying to get some dough. I ain't picking up my line unless it's money on the phone. Gotta get it on the daily. All I want is dubs. You know what I'm on. I've been chasing after paper. All I know is run money marathon.
Do 5 years of this and be a millionaire and go on do what I want to do, have kids, go live my chip and joy in the games life out here in Texas, or struggle for the next 10 years. The choice is yours.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Black Wealth Renaissance Podcast. Our goal of this podcast is to normalize Black wealth and share helpful resources and tips we believe will be useful in attaining and maintaining generational wealth. Please feel free to rate and comment on our podcast. We would love to hear all feedback you have. Now, enjoy the show.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Black Wealth Renaissance Podcast. Your boy, David Ballard, 1/4 of the Black Wealth Renaissance, checking in with my co-host, fellas. How y'all feeling?
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Jalen, chilling, quarantine style in the house. Blessed to be here. What's up with the rest of y'all?
How y'all boys feeling, man? It's your boy Kelly here, checking in. Man, actually, I ain't no quarantine over in Texas. I don't know. Greg Abbott is not having no quarantine right now.
That's why they call it the Wild West, dog.
Hell yeah.
What's good, y'all? It's Jared checking in. It's your boy just over here chilling, man. Quarantine and cooling, bro. Ain't too much to do. Just
they
trying
still
to
got you working?
Huh?
They still got you working too?
I gotta work from the office. Like, they not allowing me to go out to like people's houses and stuff because they don't want us to be exposed to them, and they don't want them to be exposed to us. So
I got you. Yeah. Wow.
It's crazy times we live in. Crazy times, and that's exactly what we on here to talk with y'all about today. So we gonna kind of go back to something old, like when we first started the podcast. We weren't getting guests on every week. It was just the four of us, the brothers of Black Wealth Renaissance. Yeah, kind of talking to you guys about what's going on and like giving some insight and some perspective. So we kind of want to get back to that today. And on this episode, we want to talk about the coronavirus and like the economic impacts of it.
Yeah. So like this feels very nostalgic because it was definitely like around this time last year they really started popping this off, man. So hey, man, I'm definitely excited to get back to this, man. So who gonna pop it off?
We pop it off, brothers. Kelly, I'll let you do the honors.
Let me do the honors. I'm curious to know everyone's intake on how they think the economic impact will be when we do come out of this epidemic or pandemic of the coronavirus. What do you see in the future for the U.S. economy?
Man, that's a good question. It's a real good question.
I think it's gonna be a lot of shaking back. With everything having to be on pause right now, and people like not being able to go to work. Some people having to like change up they money inflow. Like they having to stop mortgages in some places, like stop renting some places. Like with all this madness going on, it's gonna be like a lot of needed injection to the economy to get it back to rolling how it was before, to get it back even close to what we used to seeing this like during this bull run.
I also like an effect with more people starting to see the necessity of like a side hustle or like a second income, bringing in more money for them. I think more people will probably learn that, man, people wasn't BSing when they were talking about, having a second source of income could really help you out. But I also feel like right now is even affecting some of those people such as landlords and everything, because David had put up a video last week and they're talking about you can't evict anybody in this time. So if somebody's not going to work and you're not getting paid, now your second source of income is kind of being cut off too. So I think a lot of people will start getting a little bit more creative. A lot of people will start trying to figure out what they can do to become recession proof, maybe, if that's the way you would like to word it or something. That's how I'm gonna word it. Damn it.
For me, the biggest thing I see for like this economy, I don't even want to think about the effects of like how long it's going to take for that to really recover, because it's really, for me, no way to tell. But what I do see is this wave of financial literacy getting pushed a lot harder after that. I do see that. Like, that's something I foresee, because one thing that's going to change this whole thing, social media wasn't as big the first time around.
That's right.
It's really big this time, and everybody has the free will to spread information. And with the way people living right now, like we see it, the record levels of debt, like just this unsustainable consumer type lifestyle, I think that's going to maybe get maybe a second look in the lens, like maybe put us a couple steps back and like get some people really trying to focus on their finances and, like Jalen said, start seeing how they can generate more income.
I definitely see a forthcoming recession for sure, maybe even a depression. But I think the biggest thing is going to be how people react to the unemployment, because the Feds are already predicting that the unemployment is going to be 30%. Now, mind you, in 2008, at the highest peak, it was only 23.9%. So imagine, exactly, that's a whole 7% higher. So like, I'm curious to see what does that look like for the world to say, hey, there's 4 people on the Zoom call, at least one of us ain't gonna have a job. Like that, I'm curious to see how that looks in America.
I think that's gonna be crazy, because I don't think a lot of people are prepared for that. I know I wouldn't be ready to just like be out without my job tomorrow. Like, I don't think a lot of people have been like stacking up and preparing to like be in the position to where if something like this were to happen and or a bunch of jobs were to get wiped out at one given time, like it was in 2008 again, I don't think a lot of people are gonna be ready for it, especially not earning the potential to where they feel like they should already be.
Hey, and that's something I was like thinking about too. Like the people that don't have the savings and everything, a lot of people might start taking that serious too. Like starting to try to really have a larger safety cushion or a larger safety net with the effects of all of this. Because like you said, if it hit 30%, that's a lot of people that's going to be without a job.
That's a whole lot of people. And I really want to see what y'all's opinion on with the Feds actually funding, trying to keep the economy afloat with just kind of printing money into the economy, just kind of throwing money at the economy.
This is like the last ditch effort type stuff that they got going on. Like, I mean, we cutting target rates down to 0% for the first time since the financial crisis in this whole bull run. I like injecting money into the airlines. It's another bailout. We injecting money back into the economy. We buying back all these bonds. Like,
it's bad out here, dog. they trying to save it, but it's bad out here.
And Kelly, I think you were talking about it earlier about how no Democrats voted for the stimulus package, and I kind of want to dive into that too, and like how this is going to have an effect on some of the things if they were to try to bail out. Why'd you say some of the people didn't vote for it?
The Democrats didn't vote for it because they felt like it wasn't harsh enough for the companies when giving them this money. So basically, in the current stimulus plan,
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles as part of a Minecraft movie meal with your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theater.
the companies could take the bailout from the government and basically still lay off people while taking that money. Also with that, they can still also have, there's not heavy regulations on them buying back their stock to make their stock price go up. So those are the two main reasons why the Democrats didn't vote. And I think personally it's going to take a little time before we see a actual stimulus package approved by the House and everybody.
Yeah, and I definitely think so too. And David, I know you had told me like a little bit about how the buyback works. Can you kind of go into detail about that?
Okay, so I'll give y'all a company in specific. I was looking into it, like why the Democrats feel that way. One company to look at is American Airlines. So over the past 10 years, what they've been doing over this bull run is, as they've been making their profits and like the company's been going up, what they've been doing is, instead of just like keep letting everybody remain with shareholders, they buy back a portion of their stock from shareholders with their profits, thus making the company more valuable because the company owns more of the company. So as they do that, they just kept driving the stock price higher and higher and higher, and they just kept repeating that process. And what they were really doing was driving the stock price up, but not really keeping cash reserves to prepare for a rainy day like we tell everybody to do. Like, as a business, they should do that. Like, we should do that as personal finance too. But yeah, that's really the gist of it. They were using their profits to buy back ownership of the company just to really drive the price up.
Hey, and actually, you mentioned something, not to get too far off topic, but just to play a little devil's advocate. I did see a few little stuff, like people was talking about it on Twitter, where they was like, you know, if, as far as preaching financial literacy, if these companies are needing bailouts and they're, you know, making all this money and stuff, and they can't make it for like a month or 2 months at hand, how are we expecting people to be able to save 3 to 6 months of expenses when they don't make enough to be able to keep up with their expenses, when companies make like way over and above?
And whenever I read that, I talked to him about it, and he said something. He's like, you know, companies they face a different type of pressure though, and I actually had to think about it. I'm like, man, companies are putting out way more money than expected though. In companies like that, they're paying thousands of employees. Mm-hmm. You got to pay operational costs. You got to buy supplies. Jet fuel isn't cheap. You got to buy different things like that. So I had to kind of think of it from a different scope of like everything that they truly have to buy in order to operate. And from one of the sources I was reading from, I forgot what it's called, but they said airlines typically make like $17 per flight seat. So I'm kind of just looking at it a little bit of both ways. So I don't know, but I definitely think that they should have some more cash on reserve, but I feel like they got to bleed it a little bit faster to keep
up with the demand of everything. Like it's one of those things. Like, I just think it's hard to compare the two, because from a personal level, yeah, like your responsibilities fairly aren't as great. Like I was listening to Business Wars, and it was a story from Vince McMahon talking to the WWE employees. He was in here like, our revenue last year was 84-point-something million dollars. And the employees got mad. He's like, man, you mean to tell me you made $84 million and I'm over here living off like peanuts and like struggling. And he like, but you didn't hear me. This our revenue. Our losses were $87 million. We actually lost $3 million. The employee mind was blown because he was like, dang, I was worried about him screwing me over, and I'm about to be out of a job. I feel like it's that type of situation. Like,
yeah,
like you can't really judge it if you're not operating a business and trying to keep up with consumer demand.
I think the other thing is with a lot of these companies, a lot of them are public traded companies, and with that, they make promises to their investors, right? So somebody like Starbucks made a promise years ago that they would basically give the value back to the investors from what they put in. And they made it a short-term goal, like 2 to 3 years. Well, they never met that goal, so what they did was take a loan and bought back the shares. So you got to think from a business standpoint when you make promises to these investors, how sometimes you have to maneuver to bring out those promises so your stock price don't fall.
That's a whole nother conversation right there with investors, because as investors ourselves, you want to see the stock price go up.
Right. That's definitely true. That's definitely true. And I agree with y'all. I definitely agree. I do think to a certain extent, though, that people are right in having complaints about that, considering that, like, how long has this, like, madness really been affecting the market? And I think that's one thing we would have to look at, too. It's like, if if it's only been, like, 2-3 weeks and y'all already need a bailout, it's a problem. Like, it's a mismanagement of funds. But if it's like you can at least last a month or two, then you might at least be doing something to where you're keeping up with your money, or at least being a tad bit more responsible.
And I got a question for you. It's kind of off topic. It's in my own. I don't want to go too far down in the rabbit hole, but do y'all feel like with them pumping all that money into the economy, is it just going to deflate the dollar so they can bring out their new digital currency?
That's it.
I seen a couple people on that bird have rumbling about buying Bitcoin for that very reason. But I don't know. I don't think, to me, it doesn't make sense because the value of Bitcoin is tied to the value of our dollar, like, loosely. Because, like, what makes Bitcoin valuable?
Whenever people purchase it more.
And when they purchase it more, what they cash it out for?
Dollars.
So, like, to me, it doesn't really make full sense. But hey, who knows?
What if it's their own digital currency? What if it's not Bitcoin? It's the U.S. government's own digital currency.
Now that play would make sense.
Pressure.
Now, Bitcoin, I wouldn't per se think that they would like go all the way double down into that just because they can't control it. Like, you don't want the whole premises of like money or like your currency for a country to be based on something that you can't even control. It's a finite number. Like, I don't think they will fool with that. But if they devalued the dollar and then introduced a new digital currency, ooh, that might, like Berman said, that'll be pressure. But I mean, I could see it happening because I mean, like, that's something else that we probably need to talk about. Like, so I'm excited for the proposed stimulus package because shoot, like I'm a person with student loan debt just like a lot of folks, and it was proposed to forgive about a minimum of $10,000 in there. So I was pretty happy for one of the proposals that I read. Yeah. But
say that again.
That was one of the
proposals. In one of the proposals there was to boost the economy after the pandemic is over. They were suggesting forgiving a minimum of $10,000 worth of student loan debt for each person in student loan. In student debt, excuse me. I said in student loan.
I don't think that one making it through the Senate, dog. I ain't gonna lie.
So, but it's like stuff like that, and then it's like stuff like the money. So, like when they're talking about sending out these checks to people, it's like by just printing this money out of nowhere, out of thin air, with nothing to back it or nothing to add value for it to like what it's worth, that's going to essentially devalue the dollar and make the dollar like the piece of paper worthless, just for like the followers or the listeners who may not have understood when we were saying like the devaluing of the dollar. them just printing or creating more of that imaginary currency makes it less like valuable.
Isn't that what happened during the Great Depression too? Because I remember, like back in middle school or something.
I think that was in Germany, bro, when they was burning money because they had just printed too much.
Yeah, it was somewhere they printed too much of it. They was burning money, and I remember this picture vividly. It was like a person.
They had a wheelbarrow.
The wheelbarrow.
It was on fire?
full, but there was like this much money was only able to purchase like some bread. And there's like that's how much they inflated their dollar by.
Yeah, so that's a scary idea actually. But I kind of do want to pivot back to
deflated. Sorry, not inflated. Deflated their dollar by.
I do want to pivot back to a couple of other the industries though, like that's gonna be affected by this whole thing. So another thing that we had seen that was happening was that as a result of the coronavirus, everyone knows. People have been forced in quarantine to, kind of stay away from large groups. So several businesses have struggled as a result of that. One of them being the film industry. I mean, the movie industry. Movie theaters are taking a beating right now. They all had to close because they're large gathering places. And right now, because of that, a lot of filmmakers are looking at releasing movies direct to streaming. That used to be a no-no. That used to be a no-go. Like, it was a rule between the companies and the filmmakers that if you're going to release a film, you have to give us at least 90 days of this in here before it can go to renting. And I think it's, don't quote me on it, I think it's 100 days before it can go to streaming services. But that, like, if they not going to make these filmmakers money, they're going to go directly to streaming. So what y'all fellas think about this?
I think a big check has to get cut. That is my honest opinion. Whether it be Netflix, Disney, whoever is the Hulu, whoever's the streaming service, they're gonna have to cut a fat check to that movie company because these guys are they're gonna have to see the revenue at some point. Like
I also don't think it's gonna be like the type of streaming we think. I think that might be like a movie that you can rent directly from the streaming thing instead of you being able to just watch it like straight directly on there. I think it'll probably be more of them like, okay,
like a rental.
Yeah, like you might have to pay like $20 to rent this movie for maybe like a week or something like that. I don't know. People might I feel like that might be where they try to combat that and try to make up their money because they're going to lose ticket sales. But if you put it on those sites and you kind of charge a little rental fee, give you like I said, a week to watch it, you can still sit at home and it gives you. I feel like that's better of a negotiation or a better bargain. But other than that, like you said, it would have to be a large check.
I don't see that check being able to be writable. Like I don't see that working because the thing is like, so you have movies that come out and make lots and lots of money. So like the Avengers and different stuff like that, where it come out and they're making crazy amounts of money off of these. Is Netflix, any streaming service in general, going to be able to pay to keep up with these movie releases for what they would have lost in a ticket, like in a ticket box? And at that point, is it worth it for them to put as much money into the movie if they're not gonna make it back?
I think you're gonna have ones that like the Avengers, people like the shows and movies like that. You're not gonna see them come approaching Netflix. I don't think.
No, that's why Disney Plus is here.
Exactly. But between that and then, I don't think that they know that they're gonna make a lot more money if they just sit there and wait. Like the movie's already made, so let's just sit here and wait until this boils over.
Yeah, that's fair.
When you have movies that struggle for funding or that are not going to make as much money in the movies anyway, I think you'll have those type of movies go to Netflix and streaming services.
Got you.
I
Hey,
don't know.
man, I did want to hop in just real quick to interject like to something that we had said before. That was, you were correct, that was Germany, Jalen. They were hit by one of the worst cases of hyperinflation in history. At one point, 4.2 trillion German marks, I'm guessing that was like per dollar, was worth $1 American. So 4.2 trillion was worth $1 American.
Yikes. Damn. So yeah, if they keep on printing out more money than we need, I definitely do see possibly our dollar getting weakened.
Yo.
So we're gonna jump into the next little section that we had planned for this. Well, one of the other companies that we kind of wanted to talk about being affected by this is like commercial real estate and REITs and malls and stuff like that. I know that that's another sector that's kind of getting slammed right now. It'll be like the consumer spending and the actual people going into malls and things like that. And Jared, when we were off camera, you were talking about it, how you notice malls are starting to struggle anywhere. You go into a mall, you see a lot less people. People ordering online. So how can this virus really affect how these certain sectors might have some longevity, if they have some?
I think depending upon how long the rules are, the laws and rules and stuff are in places to where people can't go out and be able to go to those malls and stuff. Because like you said, they were already on their last leg. Like people were doing more online shopping than they were doing in person at brick and mortar stores anyway. So on top of that, you throw in the fact that now I can't go to the mall or I can't go to do any of that type of stuff. It's like, damn, I see them. It might be the straw that breaks the camel's back if it lasts too long.
I definitely see malls eventually going out of business, just because I do see this virus not necessarily lasting a super long time, but I do see it lasting for a little while. And with that, people are going to get used to being able to shop online, being able to do everything virtually. So I don't see it lasting with the malls and having foot traffic through there.
And I could see that too. With that, I've been seeing like these headlines, people talking about the new norm and all of that. And I think that that's some of the new norm that they're talking about, like people being more comfortable with ordering online, maybe sending stuff back more often. Because
through UPS or something like that.
I know that's another reason why a lot of people don't order online. They're like, if I order online, I can't bring it back if it don't fit or whatever. I don't want to go through the hassle. So I feel like this might have to force them into that player pan and stuff like that.
Yeah. That moving into that mobile economy that people talk about, that's the thing. I don't know, man. I don't know about us going directly there. I don't think that's the direct path we're headed on.
Yeah.
But over time, I definitely see it getting there. Like us getting so used to being a remote society, like we don't necessarily have to be there.
The NBA playoffs are here, and I'm getting my bets in on FanDuel. Talk to me, Chuck GPT. What do you know?
All sorts of interesting stuff, even Charles Barkley's greatest fear.
Hey, nobody needs to know that.
New customers bet $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
21 plus and present in Virginia. Must be first online real money wager. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
To spend our money or make our money.
Yeah, I can definitely see that too. With more people starting to work from home too, I think that might be something that a lot of people might be. This might be like an awakening thing. Like, oh man, I don't have to have these people in the office for them to get work done. I can have them at home, and it might start saving companies a little bit more money. And now you just paying you being paid from working from home. And that's actually one of the principles of the 4-hour work week. If y'all haven't checked that out, y'all definitely should.
And also, off camera, when we were talking about this, Kelly was saying to be watching out for my REITs, because some of my REITs have commercial properties in them. And I know we did want to talk a little bit about how the stock market has been affected by the coronavirus as well, too.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I was going to say definitely. That's a thing that I definitely want to reiterate, that a lot of these REITs are built into malls and shopping centers. And if the government doesn't bail out some of these retailers, you could see a lot of these REITs go down fast and hard.
I already see my percentages dropping. I'm just, at this point, I'm either waiting for the dagger. It's going to come back. It's one or the other.
And the way that affects it, with REITs, you make most of your money off of high-end dividend yields, right?
Yes. So 90% of what they make, basically, they have to give back to the shareholders.
Yeah, so that's their requirement.
So the lower that REIT is, the less you're getting back on your return, correct?
Yeah. Like if the businesses can't pay their rent for the REIT, the REIT's not gonna make no money. They're gonna have to foreclose on the business. The business got to get kicked out. Like your REIT not gonna make nothing because the business itself is what's funding the real estate company that's making the money.
Yeah. So when everything running smooth, I get my dividends. But when things go crazy like they are right now and people got to get evicted, I don't get my bread. So we're gonna see how that goes. I've been getting my dividends so far though, so I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed.
Long as they keep paying me.
But there are REITs that do have decent assets that form well in a bear market, such as REITs that own hospitals, that actually own hospitals and research labs and all that good stuff. Those REITs are doing very well in this type of market because of the times that we're in with the coronavirus.
Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting little take on it.
I mean, the other REITs, they own residential real estate, commercial, like apartment buildings. So they probably won't be as affected unless people become unable to pay their rents.
Speaking of REITs and stocks in general, I did want to see if y'all had heard about something, kind of hop into the gossip mill for a second. Had y'all heard about those senators that had gotten in trouble for seemingly insider trading on congressional information? How do y'all feel about that?
Well. I did not know this was a thing until prior to this episode, but apparently insider trading was very, very legal for Congress people up until 2012 when our good old President Barack Obama, shout out to my dude, man. We miss him, dog. You miss him, dog? He passed the Stock Act, the Stop Trading on Congressional Knowledge Act, which stopped the Congress people from being able to actually take advantage of this information and make it actual insider trading. So it's crazy. These people went ahead, like they got briefed for the coronavirus. I believe it was in mid-January. They got briefed and they told them how bad this was going to be for the U.S. economy. And the senators then came out after that meeting and told us, don't worry, everything's going to be fine. You have nothing to panic about. And these same senators went that night or in the next coming days and offloaded millions of dollars of stock from the markets that would be affected and started placing them in several other places that they know would benefit from the effects of the coronavirus, such as telecommunications companies like Zoom, GoToMeeting, and medical industry companies like we mentioned earlier. So yeah, that's what they did.
Them dirty dogs. See, now at first I was like, why y'all mad at him? But now I fully understand this. You dirty scoundrels.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
It had some people so mad they were like, bro, it's kind of hopeless to even worry about financial literacy at a certain point because it's like, bro, how am I gonna try to win in a rigged game that is that rigged? Which I disagree with, but some people were saying that, and I could kind of see where they were coming from because I mean, that's hella rigged.
All I gotta say is them senators need to go to jail. So that I don't see how they shouldn't go to jail for this insider trading.
Well, hold on, Kelly. Let me tell you. So, from what I read, the way that it seems that these guys are going to try to finesse their ways out of the situation is all of them are basically saying that they don't handle their own money. They're saying basically they give their money to financial advisors, third-party companies, other folks that make the trades for them, make the moves for them. And so, example, like one of the guys, I can't remember his particular name. Y'all have to look it up and do due diligence on the research. But he was saying that like ever since he had like gotten elected, he knew that he was trying to get out of holding individual stocks and out of a situation like this. So he already had his advisor selling his portfolio and moving it into like mutual funds. Well, like that sounds good and all, but you know what I'm saying? When you made some major sell-offs right before this happened, it looks really bad. So, I mean, but that's the main defense that I was seeing for everybody. They were like, I don't handle my money, which is something I saw a lot of people on social media saying too, that like these people shouldn't be able to trade in the stock market. Do y'all agree with that?
You dirty scoundrel.
I ain't gonna lie. I don't think that they shouldn't be able to trade, but they definitely should have to have like some type of waiting period on this. Like, okay, yeah, we told y'all, but until we make this public information, y'all can't do nothing about it. That way it's fair game.
I think what you got, Kelly?
I was just saying, I think it definitely should be higher regulated. I don't think it's regulated enough for these government officials who know insider stuff, especially about these different diseases or different economic impacts that's going to happen in the future. I don't think it's regulated enough and it creates a disadvantage in the stock market and the economic overview. So I don't know. I definitely think it should be heavily regulated for those in government officials.
And I'm gonna piggyback off of that with the regulation. I'm thinking that there should be like a certain cap that they're able to invest like per year too. Because Jared, didn't you say one guy like put like 1.2 million out of one stock? Like that's ridiculous, bro. Like, come on, my brother. Like, why you moving all of that so quick, so fast, man?
No, they was definitely moving large amounts of bread in stock. Like, and it was fairly quick moves. And like Kelly said, a lot of them were happening around that January time after they had been briefed. So it's been raising a lot of questions.
Yeah, I just want to put some names to this so y'all just know who getting accused of this activity. So
go Google these folks.
We got the North Carolina Republican Richard Burr. He's a senator. We also have Senator Kelly Loeffler from where is Kelly from? From Georgia. Kelly's from Georgia. So these are two of the people, the names that are accused. So if y'all voted for them, y'all know what happened with y'all goddamn vote. Start making the people better.
Now, he didn't put him out like that.
Hey, it is what it is. But low key being the senator is the play. So until they change the rules, that's my plan.
Okay.
So sticking with the stock market, I kind of wanted to get y'all's ideas on Disney because Disney is closing all of their parks as well as the cruise ships. And I just wanted to see y'all's opinion. That accounts for a very large percentage of the revenue. And I just want to know y'all's opinion as far as, do you see somebody like an Apple buying them out? Somebody that has a lot of cash on hand to buy them out or buy a piece of their business.
I'm glad you mentioned Apple just because I want to say something real quick. We talked about financial literacy and businesses mismanaging money earlier. If we got a story of some business managing some money, right, we got the story of Apple. Apple has $343 billion in cash reserves.
They've been waiting for this day. For real, though. Like, how you do that? Like, Apple was like, okay, we just gonna keep on stashing and just keep on. Like, that's ridiculously insane, bro.
Apple got to read. I got some.
Dang. But I don't know, man. I don't necessarily see Disney.
You don't think Disney's other streams could keep them floating while this going on?
They would have to do something significant with the Disney streaming services for them to come out of this very strong. Because you got to remember that ESPN is one of the biggest profiters too. Yeah. And that's not showing anything.
They got nothing to talk about.
So Disney really just got hit kind of on all fronts by the corona. So like you messed up my cruises, you shut down my parks, and then you come back and then my money maker on my streaming is my sports, and I can't none of them play.
And you know they actually losing money on the streaming service. So
already. Yeah,
like that, because that price point they charging, like whenever you got cable, they charging you like $10 to have direct, to have ESPN in the sports package and all that. That's like the most expensive channel. They charge you $16 for all of Disney and ESPN. And don't you get to see like Marvel movies on there or something? So I ain't never been on Disney Plus, guys.
Yeah, you get to watch Marvel movies.
With the 16, you get like Hulu and Disney and ESPN Plus, all of it together.
Yeah. Those were all services that were like $6 or $7 a piece at one point, right?
So do you guys think that maybe another streaming service or maybe even Apple buy a piece of maybe like some of their networks. So they have ABC, they have Fox, they have FX. Do you see them buying one of them to put on their streaming service to give Diddy cash?
That'd be a power play if they would.
But then, like you said, they own stuff like ABC, bro. People watching ABC. People are watching ABC. That's why the news is being streamed.
But that's we go back to the earlier conversation we was having. Business, it costs to run the motherfuckers. Like they still gotta pay people even though people can't go to work, right? Is that part of the thing? Like that's a thing, right?
It's definitely a thing. They're still paying
like most of the news people still working.
What you talking about? Disney, bro. They got a lot of obligations. You got the cruise lines, you got the parks.
Yeah, I'm tripping.
You employing a lot of people.
Yeah.
Liquidating part of their TV portfolio probably wouldn't hurt them. And I could see Apple, like, with the way everything is shifting towards streaming, I could really see that being realistic. Like, trying to acquire networks and, like, the programming the networks own.
I definitely see that with Apple. I think Apple is definitely going to try to push the streaming service during this time.
It's a great move for them. We already got their phones.
Didn't the banker come out like straight to Apple TV the other day?
Yep.
Yeah. Can I watch it on my phone?
You got Apple TV.
Have one of the newer phones. You could get the 7-day free trial. Then after that, you got to pay $4.99.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, they hitting you with that wiki.
I can't hit them with a fast one because they got my phone. Them damn bastards.
You can cancel the subscription after the 7 days.
Hey man, Apple find a way to get it out you, dog.
Oh yeah, they coming over like the Growth Sisters with the hand out.
I need that.
That actually, matter of fact, you saying that kind of led me think about another thing I wanted to pivot to and talk about. With like watching your subscriptions and making sure you're saving money and stuff. What are y'all doing to like prepare yourselves and to invest? Like, what are y'all doing in this transition into this next market? Like, I know a lot of people didn't have the opportunity to see the whole recession happen as it was going with 2008. And, they'd be like, man, I would have bought, at that given time. So like, what are y'all doing to try to prepare?
Well, I've been preparing for this moment for all my life. Oh. Yeah, nigga, that's how I feel. No, I'm just playing. But no. With this, I think the biggest thing you should do is like really making sure you have these cash reserves, like stacking your cash in a time like this, because assets, they on sale. You can cop some assets, but you want to have like the cash reserves or securing the credit like now before it goes away, like before they dry it up, so that you can have money to access to buy these assets whenever like we finally get to the real part of this sale.
Yeah, because I know with some people, like they were saying that this is not the biggest sell-off point, that they're predicting that this is not the biggest sell-off point, but you never really know what's the true bottom. But like you said, just being prepared and stacking up that bread, stacking up the cash, and little by little, even investing, like you said, into assets. And little by little, might buy like 1 or 2 stocks here if you can afford it, or whatever you really can afford. If you have enough money to say, okay, I can buy 10 shares of a high stock that's on sale right now, buy it. But also, you can make money doing shorting the market too. I know that's how a lot of people are making some bread right now. They're shorting the market because the prices is going down. So take some of that time to really start developing skills on learning how to look at charts and learning how to start trading certain options so you can really start making you some plays like that. And I feel like that's another way you can take advantage of the market decreasing, and you can put some of that money back into the market once it starts to go back up.
I got one thing. Invest in yourself.
Yes.
Invest in yourself during this time. Y'all, a lot of people are sitting at home making TikToks. Not making nothing. Bored out your mind because you got to sit at home in quarantine. Why don't you read some books, look at some YouTube videos, watch, and maybe even buy a course and start doing a course and figuring out what is it that you want to do in your investing life? Like, what do you want to do whenever this market comes back up, and be very proficient in it whenever it does come back up, because you were taking that time while it was down to learn and perfect that craft?
The only thing, my main thing, or piece of advice is like, look for the discounts. Like, start looking now for the discounts. Like, for example, there was a chart that was flowing around on different places talking about like different stocks right now that are sub $100 that usually are not sub $100. I think Disney was like one of the ones that was on that list. So like, with that being said,
Disney under $100, my good sir. Disney is like 80. Just to throw it out there for those looking for stocks to buy. Just throwing it out there.
Hey, what was the high that it hit not long ago?
I believe 140, my good sir.
Oof.
Hey, that's a great price. That's a great price. So, hey, I'm not a financial advisor and I can't give you stock advice. Do your research though.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Kelly, I'm glad you mentioned investing in yourself, bro. Because investing in yourself, that's like the most really important thing. I'm mad I ain't touch on that. Like in this time right now, you need to be investing in yourself and really like preparing yourself with the education to take yourself to the next level. So I advise everybody on here to check out our ebook, Manage Your Money Like the 1%. It's a step-by-step guide on how you can get your finances together and start investing. Like we talk about all the different investment vehicles, give you some education, some information, so you can start taking action to improve your financial future.
I like that too, because like Kelly said, y'all, a lot of people sitting home making TikToks and being entertained. We should really take this time out to inform ourselves. I really think just cleanse our mind, cleanse our body, take this time to really just say, okay, I'm gonna stop eating from fast food too. Like just start cooking at home. You don't have an excuse. A lot of us are starting to be forced to be at home. So we should take this time to really just focus on like self-centering ourselves and really just finding that inner, not even gonna say peace, but that inner balance where we can really just start learning more about ourselves. You can start learning more about your finances, learning more about what the world has to offer. So once all of this is over with, we can start to capitalize on those opportunities that you learn about.
My biggest thing, just preparation for what's going on right now for everybody, is just, like I said, watch the discounts, like watch the prices drop. Look at what's going on in different industries, especially any that you're interested in investing in. Look and see like what's happening to those. Like if you were a landlord, would you be comfortable with not being able to be paid rent in a time like this? You know, like is that the only source of income that you really want to focus on? Just thinking about the different things that this entails as far as your entrepreneurial future and your financial freedom future, whether you were just planning on like doing like one episode before, we had talked with Our Rich Journey, where they invest in a bunch of index funds and they basically live off of their dividends, or like the Wall Street Trapper, where he does. Like watching those different things as far as what's going on in the market and preparing yourself so that whenever you are in the game, you're prepared for how the game can go when it does go left or when it does go good.
All right, one last thing. I believe this here downturn that we're in is gonna either make or break a lot of people. Don't be the one that it breaks.
Mm-hmm. That's
a word right there.
I like that. So that boy got that Rona, man.
No, I don't let that. Don't. Hey, that's fake news. Fake news. We wrapping up the episode.
This
man.
is totally not fake news, people.
All right. So look, guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this episode. We appreciate everybody for tuning in week out, checking out the Black Wealth Renaissance podcast, liking, subscribing, sharing it with your friends. We love hearing feedback from you guys. So please be sure to leave us. Let us know what you think. We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
Like we said, it was a
nostalgic moment.
Yeah, a little throwback.
Yeah. So if y'all want to hear more stuff like this from us, where we just kind of talk and y'all get to kind of see some of our viewpoints on things, y'all let us know in the comments. Give us some thumbs up, rate us, and just let us know what y'all like.
And if there's even more topics or anything that y'all want us to cover or want us to talk about, especially with what's going on in the current times, just let us know. You know, drop us a question, drop us a comment, and we'll be sure to try to get to that.
Everybody stay safe out there. Be safe in your quarantine, guys.
Wash your hands.
Wash your damn hands.
And with that, this is Black Wealth Renaissance signing out. Peace. Cue the damn music.
I got money on my mind, I'm just trying to get some dough. I ain't picking up my line, unless it's money on the phone. Gotta get it on the daily, all I want is dubs, you know what I'm on. I've been chasing after paper, all I know is run money marathons. I got money on my mind, I'm just trying to get some dough. I ain't picking up my line, unless it's money on the phone. Gotta get it on the daily, all I want is dubs, you know what I'm on. I've been chasing after paper, all I know is run money marathons.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
The pandemic has been hard on all our kids. New studies show more than 1 in 3 children who started school in the pandemic now need intensive reading help. That's right. Millions of kids in kindergarten through 3rd grade in the United States cannot read at grade level. Here's the good news. Your child can be reading in just 30 days, guaranteed, with Hooked on Phonics. Even if your child has been struggling, Hooked on Phonics will teach your child to read in just 30 days, guaranteed. And right now, you can get started for just $1. Text the word GRADE to 323232 right now. Hooked on Phonics is highly effective and incredibly fun, and everything can be done right from home and in less than 20 minutes a day for more than 30 years. Hooked on Phonics has been the proven learn-to-read program that kids love to use. Text GRADE to 323232 and teach your child to read in just 30 days, guaranteed. Text GRADE to 323232 right now and get started for just $1. Text GRADE to 323232 now. Text GRADE to 323232.
I switched to Boost Mobile and got a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Want to know the best part?
It was free?
Nope.
The fact that it's on America's largest 5G networks?
Nope. It's the ding.
Oh yeah, love the ding.
Right? It's all about the ding. It's the dingarooski, the dingarona, the ring-a-ding-ding.
Unleash your power to save with Boost. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone when you switch. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power.
And the ding.
Limited time offer. New customers only. Available on select networks. 5G not available everywhere. One device per line. Tax excluded. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles as part of a Minecraft movie meal with your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce.
Participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.